Hello everyone and welcome to our Learning Hour webinar. I'm Kunalan and I'm excited to be your host for today's session. Today we have our expert trainer Miss Alila and she will be sharing a very interesting topic about creating impactful charts and a primer on data visualization. During the session, you may ask question in the chat box below. Miss Alila will answer the question at the end of the session. Without any longer, I hand over the floor to Miss Alila. Thank you.
All right. Hi, everyone. So firstly, thank you so much, Kunalan, for the introduction. Good afternoon. Assalamualaikum and welcome to the Learning Hour webinar session with Excel Academy. So today we'll be covering an interesting topic, which is in relation to charts and graph, all right? How we can actually utilize what we have inside Excel, okay? How we can actually make our chart as a primer when we present, inside our presentation deck or even when we want to present our data in general, okay? So here I'll share my screen here, all right? And then let's have a look at what are some of the tools and functions that we can use inside Excel to further enhance our charts and graph. All right. So here by right, you would see a workbook, okay, name charts and graph, and you will see several worksheets at the bottom here, okay. And then the first thing that you'll see is favorite cheese data, which is in relation to cheese type and also number of people, okay, right. So what you see over here is, this is how previously or maybe currently some of the people, they use these types of format when they want to share their data, right? So they would put it in the form of table, okay? They would have at least two variable. In this case, for an example, we have cheese type, okay? And then in column B here, we have number of people who like each of these cheese type, okay? But over the years here, we find that it is very impactful for us to actually shift from this basic table that we are showing our data into something more interesting, right? So we want to change this and we want to put it in the form of charts. We want to put it in the form of infographic. Okay. So for those who is not familiar with the charts and graph features, so this is something perfect for you because we'll start something from basic, how we can create charts and graph using our existing data. So here, what I'll do is I'll select all of this relevant data, starting with cell A3 here that is showing cheese type. So we need to select the title as well. So I'll click A3 here up to B12, right? Because our data is only up to row 12 here. So I won't go further down to row 13 or 14 because later it will impact our data, all right? So if you select not only the relevant data, but also those which is not relevant, okay, such as all of those empty spaces and whatnot, it will be reflected inside your charts as well. So that's why it's very important for you to recognize which area or which part of the data they would like to translate into your charts, okay? So that's why here we're highlighting cell A3 up to B12 only. And then we'll go up here. You would see there are several tabs, example here, file, home, and so on. So I'll go to this one, insert, okay? So once you go to insert here, somewhere around at the center, you would find a ribbon called charts. So you would have several charts here, but I want to see everything, all right? So I'll click on recommended charts. So under recommended charts, of course, there will be several types of charts that you can find. Okay, example here, column, okay. You can see bar, you can see there's funnel and so on. So these are all recommended charts. So please understand that under recommended charts, the choices are quite limited. They will only feature some of the recommended charts that Excel have, okay. But if you want to see all of the charts that is available for you inside Excel, you can go to the button next to it here that is showing it as all charts. And on the left side, you can see there are a lot of categories that you can choose from. If you want a pie chart here, all right, they will show you a pie chart, but not only that, you can also choose several different types of pie chart, okay? So what you have here in front of you is, this one is the 2D pie chart, right? If you click on the second one, this is in the form of 3D. We also have the last one in the form of donut, right? So now you know, even though you are selecting different categories, there are different types of a different style of charts inside each of the category. So let's say here, I'm choosing the 3D pie, okay, looking very nice here in 3D form. And then I click OK. So this is how our chart looks like. Okay, so I'll make it smaller a little bit so it's visible to all of us. Okay, right. So there are a few things that you can find here. First, if you can see the title number of people, this is what we call as chart titles. Okay, so whenever I share it, okay, I always say to other people that you should actually utilize your chart title, right? So inside the chart title here, I would always recommend for you to first put in the type of charts that you are showing. Okay, so here we know this is a pie chart, so you can type in here pie chart for, this is a favorite cheese data, right? So you can put here pie chart for favorite cheese. So when people see your charts and graph, regardless if you put it in Excel or later when you put it under your PowerPoint, okay, people know, oh, all right, this is a pie chart. And what does this pie chart indicates? This pie chart indicates the data for favorite cheese, okay? So chart title, I would highly recommend you to put the type of chart, okay? And also this chart is about what, right? Because sometimes you have several sets of data, right? People may confuse. Let's say if you want to show data about budget, and then you want to show the data about the, let's say the actual expenses. So it's best for you to label your chart title accordingly so that people can differentiate, right? So that is the first one. Second, something visible for you here is at the bottom, right? So you can see there are some indicators. Example here, blue is brie, right? For orange color, it's cheddar cheese. Let's say for brown color, it's Stilton. For yellow color, it's dairy. So these are all different types of cheese, okay? Right. So when we have this sort of indicator inside Excel, we have a term for this, right? We call this as legend. Yeah, legend. That is what we call inside Excel. They recognize this as a legend. Okay, right. So that is the second one. Now, if you look at my 3D pie here, I can see the largest portion seems like it's the orange color, and the orange color belongs to cheddar cheese, isn't it? But if I look at this pie chart, right, and if someone asks me during my presentation, Adila, how many people actually likes cheese, right? They consider cheddar cheese as their favorite. So of course I know it's the largest chunk here, but I have no idea what is the number. Okay, right? So I have to still refer back to the original data in column A and column B. Okay, so here the next item that we'll learn is about add data label. Meaning when we have this sorts of charts, okay, we can actually add some labeling there. So not only the audience, okay, won't be clueless, right? We also don't need to remember each of the detail because we had each of the pie or the portion pie here with labels already. So here you can either right click, and then here you can see there are add data labels. Okay, now you can see, oh, it's 23, it's 12 people, 11, 14, and so on. Okay, so that is data label. Now, what I want to show next is what are some of the editing that you can do on your current charts and graph. Of course, there's a lot of things that you can explore, but here I will highlight those which is with high importance. Okay, right. Now, when you click on your charts here, okay, your pie chart, suddenly, right, there will be a new tab that appear, which is called as chart design tab. Just now, if I click outside, you see, chart design is nowhere visible up here. But once I click on my chart, the chart design tab come up. So it's very important if you want to do any editing on your chart, please click on your chart first. Okay. Now, let's go to chart design tab. Let's look at the first one on the left here. We have add chart element. Okay, so let's click on add chart element. The first that you have here is chart title, right? So you can decide, do you want any chart title? If you don't want, you can click none. And here, if you can see, my chart title is no longer here, right? And then if you go back to your chart title, you can actually choose where you want to locate. You want to put it above your chart, centered overlay, and so on, okay? Second, you have the data labels, the one that we did just now, okay, the 23, 7, and so on. This one is what we call as data label. Now, here, under add chart element, you can actually decide whether if you want any chart label at all, data label at all. So if you don't want any, you can click none. But if you want it, okay, you can actually decide where you want to locate your data label. Is it in the center of your pie? Okay. Is it inside and outside and? So outside and is something like this. It's on the outside. So it won't interfere with any of your pie over there. Okay. And then you can choose other options as well. For an example, here we have best fit. Okay, data call out. This is how data call out looks like. So you can choose any data label that you would like. Okay. Right. And then we also have legend here. So legend, you don't need to move your legend manually. You can actually choose from the legend here where you want to locate your legend, right? So right now it's at the bottom. So if you want to put it on the right side, see, now it's on the right side over here. And then you can also choose other at the top. Okay, so now it's at the top. So it depends where you want to locate any of your chart element, okay? So what I have here is I put it on the right side. Okay, so this is how I want it to be. Okay, so all of those you can find it under your chart design tab and also add chart element. If you want to add or remove anything, you can refer to the add chart element. Okay, now second one, you have some quick layout that you can choose from. All right, so for an example here, we would have chart title, okay, value and percentage data label. Okay, so if I choose this one, right, you see now it's in the form of percentage, right? So you don't have to calculate the percentage yourself, okay? You can just choose the element from quick layout. You can just point to any of it and you can actually read the description. Example, layout number 2, you would have your chart title, your legend will be at the top, and your data will be in the form of percentage data label, okay? Layout number 3, okay, nothing here, just simply the pie chart and also the legend, right? So this is very interesting. You can even put it in the form of the actual number, the whole number, or if you want it in the form of percentage, you can choose it here from quick layout, okay? Right. Now that is number 2. Number 3, you can actually change the colors because I understand, especially if you are preparing for a corporate slide, right? So I believe most of the companies or every companies would have their own identity, as in they would have their own scheme of colors, right? When they do, when they do materials for their social medias, when they do material to create their proposal, their presentation deck, usually they would have corporate colors, okay, that they will actually use. So here, let's say if you want to follow those particular colors, you can click on change colors. So if let's say your company color is blue color, so you can choose blue here. So you would have different shades of blue, okay, or you can choose either other colors as well. Example, if you want here colorful, all right, but different shades. So this one is more to green, blue, and also yellow. Okay, so you can choose any of the colors that you want, right? So that is the third one. We have change color. Number 4, we have chart styles. Now we have different styles of charts you can choose from here. So what you can do is you can see at the bottom here you have a drop down arrow. Click on the drop down arrow and see here you have a lot of styles that you can choose from. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Some other charts, okay, not by maybe if you choose column or maybe bar, they could be up to 16 styles. So there's a lot of styles that you can choose from. So if I choose number 1, this is how it looks like. Okay, something pretty basic, pretty simple over here. And if I click on number 2, see, now we have the data call out, right? So you know this portion is for cheddar, this portion is for brie, this portion is for Lancashire, and so on, okay? If I choose on number 3, so we have the data call out, and also we also have the legend on the right side, okay? This is style number 4. very subtle. Okay, the color it's fade. Okay, and if I choose number 5, this is how it looks like. Number 6, okay, this is number 7. Okay, the pie chart is defined. Okay, and then now it's changed to a percentage. Okay, and if I go to the next one, this is how it looks like, and the last one, this is how it looks like, right? So you can play around with your chart element, your color, your layout, and even your chart styles. Okay, right. Now on the last part here, you would see there are few additional items. We have switch row or column, we have select data, we have change chart type, and also move chart. So I'll explain to you what each of these means. Now, for the first one, switch row or column, you know when you create a charts and graph, right, there's always, you need at least a minimum of 2 variables, okay? And when you plot your chart, okay, usually you would have your x-axis and also y-axis, okay? So x is the horizontal one, of course the y-axis is the vertical one. Now, occasionally, right, so sometimes you may have the needs to actually switch the row and column. So maybe you want the x-axis now to be turned into y-axis and the y-axis now to be turned into x-axis. So inside charts and graph in Excel, you don't have to create the charts and graph all over again. Okay, you don't need to highlight and redo the whole thing all over again. You can simply click on switch row or column. So later Excel will help to switch your x with your y-axis and your y-axis with your x-axis. Okay, so that is the purpose of switch row or column. Now, the second one, select data. So this is very useful if, let's say, you created a chart, right? So this one, we have the chart on the favorite cheese here. And then later in the future, there are more additional cheese type that you want to add in. Okay, so in 3 months time, let's say for an example, there are 3 additional cheese type and you got the data for those who actually likes the cheese. Okay, so of course you want to expand, okay, your data. Earlier we only select from cell A3 to B12. Let's say now our data expand to B15, right? So we need to highlight A3 until B15. So here you can click on select data. Under here, the top part, you would see chart data range. So right now it's showing as A3, B12. So if you want to change it and update it, let's say you want to you want to highlight more or you want to highlight less, you can just click on select data, and then you can actually update your chart data range here. You can just highlight the relevant data that you want to convert into charts. Okay, so that is the purpose of select data. Okay, now the third one, we have change chart type. Okay, so let's say here currently you would have a pie chart and then suddenly you have a change of mind. Right? So I don't want it to be a pie chart anymore. I want it to be a different chart. So sorry. So how can I change this, right? So you can actually click on change chart type without doing another additional chart. So just click on change chart type. So it will prompt you back to the all chart here. And then you can choose either you want a bar chart, you want a column, you want a line, and so on. So let's say if I choose a column chart here, right? So I choose here, click OK. So now you can see it's showing as a column chart now. Okay, so we have changed the chart type from pie to column. Okay, so that is the purpose of change chart type. Now the last one is move chart. Okay, so let's have a look at move chart. So if you click on move chart, you can actually move your charts to a new sheet, okay, inside the same workbook here, or you can move it to a different existing worksheet. So let's say now it's under chart 1, you want to move your chart here to worksheet chart 2. So you can just choose chart 2 and click OK. So this allows you to move your chart. Okay, I know you can also do copy paste or cut and paste, right? But sometimes an error may appear. So if you want to move your chart safely, right, without having any doubts and so on, so you can choose move chart. under the last part here. Okay, you can see the word move chart, right? So that are all of the available settings that you can use if you want to edit your charts and graph. Okay, we start from here at chart element. Okay, we have quick layout. You can also change color according to your corporate colors. You can also choose chart styles. Okay, you would also have something black like this one. So there's a lot of styles that you can choose from. It depends on the type of charts that you have as well. Just now earlier, remember when we did the 3D pie, this black color graph is not available, right? So it depends on the charts. It depends on the types of charts as well. Okay, to determine what comes out under the chart styles. And then of course, the last four here, we have switch row or column. Okay, we have select data. If you want to update your source of data, either you want to add more rows, you want to remove rows and so on. We have change chart type. Let's say initially you have a pie chart and then you change your mind, right? So maybe you feel like column chart is more it ties with the presentation better, so you can change it accordingly. And of course, the final one is move chart. Okay, so I hope my explanation is clear. Okay, and those are the functions that is available to edit your charts. Okay, right. So now we have covered the basic charts and graph. Okay, I want to go in depth further, right? So now I'll have a look at the actual versus target worksheet, okay, right? So we are still in the second month of 2020, sorry, we are in the second month of 2024 in February. And soon later, when we reach the month of April, right, we will start to look back into how do we perform in quarter one, right, from January until March, okay? So what I have in front of you here is what I call as actual versus target graph. Okay. So especially if you have your, let's say if you work in sales, right? So of course you would have your actual number, the targeted number. And let's say if you're just simply in any of the department, of course you want to see what is your actual expenses in comparison to your budget, isn't it? Right? So here I provided two options for you. Okay, so on the left side here, we have a chart, okay, which is showing column on column. You can see the blue color inside here is the actual portion, and the orange color on the outside, this shows the target portion, right? So to read this, right, to see whether you have achieved your target or you have exceed your target, of course, you would expect the blue color here would reach at the same point as per the orange color, the target, or if they exceed the target, definitely the actual will shoot further up, right? So they will actually extend more than the target portion over here, right? So this is the first one example, column on column. The second one here, you would see there's column. And if you see the X here, this is what we call as marker. Yeah, so marker, yeah, M-A-R-K-E-R, marker. So for your marker here, you can actually change the shapes. So here I have X. You can change it to a circle, to a triangle, to a star, right? You can change it to a lot of other shapes, okay, to a lot of other markers. Okay, so this is your second option. You would have your column chart there accompanied with a marker to show as your target, okay, right? So let us have a look at the step by step for the column on column. So if you see here, there are only 3 steps, very simple. First, we have the stack column. Okay, number 2, we only work on the actual, the blue color. So we need to click on format data series, and then we click on secondary axis. Okay, and then the third one for target, the orange color, we will click on format data series, and then gap width, we will set it to 100%. Okay, so only 3 steps to create this wonderful actual versus target graph, right? On the right side, okay, first we choose clustered column. If you see number 2, 3, and 4, all of these, we use it for the target portion only. So we won't interfere with the actual part, we would only change the target. Okay, we only update the target. So for target, step number 2, we will click on change series chart type. Under combo, you go to target and then make sure the chart type you choose line with markers. Okay, so if you can't see where we're heading now, don't worry, we'll do it together shortly after I explain the step by step. Okay. Step number 3 for target, we will click on format data series, line, no line. And then number 4, the last one for target portion, we will click on format data series, marker, marker options built in. Okay. So for the one on the right side here, we have 4 steps. On the left, we have 3 steps. Okay. Now, if I go to column A, B, C here, I have simple set of data. Column A, I have quarter. Column B is the actual percentage. Column C is the target. So we want to see, do we achieve, okay, what is our actual number in comparison to our target by quarter, right? Okay. So the first step is you need to highlight the relevant data. So I'll highlight cell A3 to C7, okay? And then first stack column, right? So after you highlight, let's go to insert tab, recommended chart. So if you look at the recommended chart, we have a column, but this is called clustered column, whereby in the instruction, we want to have a stack column. So here, let's go to all charts. You choose the category column on the left, and then you would see there are a lot of options that you can choose from. The first one is the clustered column. So if you choose the second one, okay, you would see stack column. So this is exactly what we want. We want stack column. So choose the second one and then proceed to click OK, right? So when you apply the first step, this is how it looks like. The actual portion in blue is at the bottom and the target portion is at the top. Okay, so it's stacked on top of your actual portion. Okay, so I'll make this smaller a little bit. Let me bring it up here. Okay, right, beautiful. Now, second step. For actual, format data series secondary exists. So actual is the blue color. So I want you to right click on the blue portion. Okay, click on format data series. And then on the right side here, now it's currently showing as primary axis, isn't it? I want you to click on secondary axis. And this is how your chart looks like. Now the actual portion, the blue color is definitely longer than your target portion. Okay, so that is step number 2 for actual format data series through secondary axis. Now, number 3, we will go for target, the orange portion. So we will click on format data series and then gap width we will set for 100%. So right click on your orange color here, right click, format data series. Okay, and then here now the gap width is showing as 150%. So I will reduce this down to 100%. So what I'll do is I'll just remove the number here. Okay, update it with 100 and then click enter. Okay, so gap width you update it to 100% and now you got your first actual versus target graph column on column. Okay, so to do some final touch up, okay, you can add data label, okay, for both the blue and orange color. You can even remove the grid lines, okay, just click on the grid lines, click delete, and now your chart looks much nicer, okay, cleaner, right? So you can update the chart title, add data label, and so on. So all of those, you can do the cosmetic updates yourself, okay? Add data label, remove the lines at the back, okay? Update your chart title, and so on, okay? Right, so that is the first one, column on column, actual versus target graph. Now on the right side, okay, let's go to the right side over here for the column and also marker. Right, so this is what we want to create. The first step is clustered column, isn't it? Right, so here, let's go back to our data in column ABC and highlight cell A3 to C7. go to insert tab, and then of course, we go back to recommended charts. Okay. Now, if you click on the first item, you can immediately see clustered column. Okay, so this is what we want. The first step, we want a clustered column. So click OK, right? Click OK over here. So when you apply step 1, this is how it looks like. The actual portion would be on the left side. The target portion would be on the right side. And they appear in each of the quarter. Quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. Right? So I'll move it here. Okay, I'll move it just on top of the previous charts over there. Right? So this is step number 1 when you apply for your charts and graph. Okay, let me go further back to the left here. Okay, so there you go. Now, what is step number 2? For target, change series chart type, combo, and so on. Now, so right click on the target, the orange color, right click, and then number 3 here, we have change series chart type. Okay, you click over there, make sure you're at the bottom, combo, and then here you would see you have the actual and also target. What we'll do now is we will only amend or update for the target portion. All right. So for target, under the chart type here, now is showing as clustered column. Okay. I will change this to line with marker. So the first one is just line. The second one, stack line. Number 3, 100% stack line. And number 4, we have line with markers. So this is exactly what we want. We want line with markers. So I want you to click over there and then click OK. So when you apply step 2, this is how your chart would look like. Okay, you have your column here standing tall, and you would also have your line here, the target. It looks like an unfinished triangle, right? Okay, so this is how it looks like. Now, step number 3, let's zoom in together. For target, format data series, line, no line. And then number 4, for target, format data series, you need to choose marker, marker options, and also built-in. So again, let's right click on the orange color. Okay, let's right click on the orange color. Right click, format data series. Now you would say under format data series, there are 3 icons, right? I want you to go to the icon that looks like a paint, okay, like a painting over there. So it's called fill and line. I want you to click on the most left icon. Okay. So here you can see at the line and also marker. So under the line here, now it's under automatic. I want you to choose no line. So when you click on no line, this is what happened. There is no line that connects all of the marker together, right? So the last step is after you click on no line here, I want you to click on marker, okay? And then the first item under marker, you would have marker options. Click on marker options. The last one is built in, and then inside built in, you can choose the type and also the size. So types are those of the different shapes that I told you about earlier. Okay, you can change it to a circle, to a star, to a triangle, diamond, square, and so on. And of course, you can also choose the size. So if you want to make it bigger, right, so you can just increase the sizing, no problem. Okay, right. So with that, we are done with both actual versus target graph. Okay, we have the one on the right here is column with markers. And then on the left side here, we have column on column. Okay, so that is your actual versus target. So if you need to show anything that represents your actual figure in comparison to your target, in comparison to your budget, these two would be a nice way for you to show, right, your actual versus target number in the form of charts and graph, right? Okay. Right, so I hope that's clear. Okay. So here we'll move on to the second last part, which is called as Pareto. Okay. So when it comes to Pareto, if you look here, right, Pareto, it is available, okay, if I'm not mistaken here, I believe it was 2016 and after, or it's 2019 and after, right? So if you use older version, okay, 2013, definitely you won't have Pareto, but you can still create a Pareto chart, okay, no problem with that, okay? So that's why here I've prepared Pareto M1, method 1, and also Pareto M2, okay? So here, let's assume everyone is using year 2016 and above. That is your license for your Excel. You use one of the latest version. So we'll cover method 1, okay, how to use the Pareto. Okay, so let me zoom in, okay, right. So here, if you look at the complaint type and also the number of complaint here. So complaint type, we have air conditioning, concierge, delay in registration, delay in room service, and so on. What do you think the industry this data belongs to, right? Staff attitude, food quality, concierge, delay in room service, minibar, and so on, right? Of course, you would guess it as a hotel industry, isn't it, right? So let's say this is the data about a hotel, okay? They receive numbers of complaints, okay? And these are the different complaint type that they receive. Now, let's say the manager of hotel asks for our help, okay? He or she has limited resources, okay, regardless it's money, time, and also manpower. So he or she needs to know which complaint type that they need to prioritize, okay? Of course, you told me, Adila, let's just focus on the complaint that has the highest number of complaints. Example here, delay in registration, food quality, and also room cleaning, for an example, right? Of course, you are correct, but I want to translate this into a form of charts and graph, okay? If I highlight cell A1 until B10, and then I create a charts and graph, a column chart, okay, they will only show air conditioning 3, so it's very small, right? Constant is 2, so it's much smaller, okay? Delay registration, the column will show very high and so on. So it's simply just translating what we have in the form of column, okay? What I want inside Pareto is, and why Pareto is very special is because when you have a set of data and you put it in the form of a Pareto chart, okay, what you'll see is Pareto will help to organize for you, whereby they will show you the highest amount up to the lowest amount. So that what separate Pareto with the rest of the charts and graph. Okay, so I hope I make it clear. Okay, and then Pareto itself is an example of a combo graph. Pareto is a combination of column graph and also a line graph, and this is how it looks like. Okay, let me zoom out a little bit here. This is how it looks like. It's a combination of column and also a line graph. So you can refer, the blue color is the column graph, the orange color is the line graph. Okay, so that is how it looks like, right? Okay, now the step by step is inside column F. Okay, I've put this in. Kalau if you have the Pareto function here, you're using 2016 and later. First, you need to find the total. Second, create column cumulative percentage. Number 3, calculate cumulative percentage. Number 4, highlight all cell and create Pareto. Number 5, determine the main complaints. Okay, so let's look at number 1, find the total. So let's have a look here how we can find the total. Right, number 1. So let's go back to our data. Now we have the number of complaint here, but it doesn't show us any of the total. So that's why inside cell B11, I'll help to add up everything together. Okay. Right, I will sum everything from cell B2 to B10 so that I will get the total number of complaint as 122, right? So that is the first one. You need to find the total. So if you have a set of data, you find the total first, okay? Now, number 2, create column cumulative percentage. So inside column C, I will type here cumulative percentage. Sorry. Oops. Cumulative percentage. Okay, right. Now, number 3 is the toughest one. Okay, what does it say? It says here, calculate cumulative percentage. Okay, so how do we calculate cumulative percentage? Now, you need to understand the concept of cumulative. We need to do accumulation. We need to accumulate. That's why here, inside cell C2, all right, we will need to start with equal to. Any formula in Excel, of course, you need to start with equal to. You take number 3 from the number of complaint from air conditioning, okay, cell B2 here. And then since we want a percentage, we need to divide with the total. So I put here divide, represented by slash, and I click on cell B11, the 122, right? So I got the number divided by my total. When I click enter, the percentage here is 2.5%, right? So air conditioning contributes to 2.5% of the total complaints, okay? Now, the first part is very easy. You straight away take 3 divided by 122. Now, the hard part comes when you go to the second one, concierge, okay? Now, inside cell C3, I will start with equal to sum, SUM, open bracket, and then I will highlight cell B2 until B3. Why? Remember, the concept of cumulative or accumulation, what does it mean is, you need to take from the first data up to the current data. The first data is number 3, right? And then we will highlight it up to number 2 under concierge. From the first one up to the current data, okay, the latest data. So you highlight B2 until B3, close bracket, divide by cell, B11. So here you could see it's 4.1%, okay? So I want you to do the same up to staff attitude. So inside cell C4, equal to sum, SUM, open bracket, you highlight 3 up to 43. Okay, so you highlight from the first one up to the current one. That is what cumulative or accumulate means. Close bracket, divide by cell, B11, the 122. Enter. So here you would get 39.3. And so let's do the same for row 5 until row 10. Equal to sum, open bracket, highlight number 3 to number 9, close bracket, divide by B11, right? The next one equal to sum, open bracket, highlight from the first one up to 17 number of complaint, divide by B11, 122, and you do the same up to row C10, okay? Go to sum, open bracket, highlight from the first one up to the current one, so cell B2 until B7, close bracket, divide by the total of 122. And we do the same for 8, 9, and 10, okay? So equal to sum, open bracket, highlight B2 to B8, close bracket, divide by cell B11. Now, the final two, room interiors, equal to sum, open bracket, you highlight from the first one, the complaint from air conditioning, up to the current complaint from room interiors, close bracket, divide by the total of 1 to 2, right? Equal to sum, open bracket, B2 to B10, close bracket, divide by B11, okay? So if you are unsure whether your cumulative percentage number is correct or not, there are 2 tips that you can try and see whether your cumulative percentage calculation is correct or not, right? The first tip is you need to check your cumulative percentage should always increase, okay? Example here, 2.5, 4.1, 39.3. It keeps on increasing, right? 47, 60, 62, 90, 95, 100. So your cumulative percentage should always increase. If let's say it decrease and then increase again, or maybe it's decreasing, then you know that your cumulative percentage calculation is wrong. So you need to fix it. Okay, right. Second tips is, at the last row here, you should get exactly 100%. If you get something lower than this, or maybe higher than this, then again, your calculation is wrong. Okay, right. So that is the third step, calculate cumulative percentage. Now, number 4, we want to highlight all cell and create Pareto. Okay, so here we highlight all of the relevant data from cell A1 up to C10. So please exclude the total, because if you include the total, then your Pareto will show the total as the highest one, right? So that's why we want to remove it. We only take from cell A1 up to C10. Okay, right, ready? Now, once you've highlighted the relevant data, go to Insert tab, Recommended Charts, and here I want you to go to the last one under Recommended Chart. This is called as Pareto. Click OK. Right, let me make it smaller. Okay, there you go. Okay, so step number 4, highlight all relevant cell and create Pareto. We've done that. And number 5, determine the main complaint. So let me make this bigger a bit. Okay, let me pull this to the right. Okay, right, good. Okay, here. So how do we determine the main complaints, right? So the other name for Pareto is also called as the 80-20 rule, okay? So it depends on you. Of course, when we want to do any improvement work, we cannot improve 100%, right? Of course, we'll set a portion. Let's say we only want to improve 50%, 80%, and so on, because it needs to be in stages. So let's say here, you told the hotel manager said, all right now, can we focus on what contributes to 50% of the problem, for an example? So here on the right side, you can see there's 50%, right? All right. So in Pareto, what you have to do is you will need to create a horizontal line, pulling from the 50%, you pull it up until it touches the line graph in orange color. And then you will need to create a vertical line pointing downwards here, right? And then anything to the left of the vertical line would contribute to 50% of the problem. So here it depends on you. You want to focus on the 30%, 50%, 80%, so you can always choose from your Pareto. So let's say here, I'm urgent, it's urgent. The hotel manager wants to actually improve the hotel by 80%, right? Okay, so we need to create the horizontal line and the vertical line. To create the line, right, it's hard. Okay, so what I'll do is, I'll do a little bit of shortcut here, yeah? What I'll do is, I'll just insert shapes, okay? So go to Insert tab, go to Shapes. Here, I will insert a basic rectangle. Okay, once you got the rectangle here, now it's not visible, right? You cannot see whatever's happening behind the scene, behind the rectangle. So here, what I'll do is, you need to right click here. Sorry, yeah, let me push that down. Okay, right click. And then here you would see there's, sorry. Okay, so right click over here. And then you can see there's style, fill, and outline. All right, what I want you to do is, I want you to click on fill. Make sure you choose no fill, right? So now you can see everything that's happening behind it, okay? And then next, I want to change this outline, the color from blue to red, so it's easier for me to identify, okay? So now you have this rectangle. what you need to do is you need to place it exactly at 50% here, 80% here. Okay, we want to solve 80% of the problem, right? So you mark exactly at 80% in between the two zero there. And then the rectangle here, you need to extend it all the way to the left up until it touches the line graph, only up to here. When it touches the line graph, you can stop expanding already. Okay, right. Now, what I'll do next, the final one is I'll just expand the rectangle all the way to the bottom here. Okay. So if the hotel manager wants to solve 80% of the problem, that 80% of the problem is actually contributed by delay in room service or registration, delay in registration, followed by room cleaning and also food quality. So if the hotel manager works on the delay in registration, if the hotel manager works on the room cleaning and also the food quality, then 80% of the problem will be solved already. And by right, hopefully he should see an increase of booking made by their customers. Okay. So that is one specialty of Pareto. Okay, you can see here, Excel automatically helps you to put in, okay, dia akan help susun from the highest number up to the lowest number. And here, why do we create this rectangle? Why do we have to have this horizontal line and the vertical line? That is because, okay, we want to see, you know, how many percent of the problem that we want to solve, or how many percent, what contributes to 80% of the problem, for an example. So that's why we created this. So anything to the left of the vertical line, that contributes to the problem. What about the item that is inside the rectangle? This represents 20% of the problem. Okay, right. So with that, I hope my explanation is clear, and I hope whatever I share with you will help you to see a different angle on charts and graph. Okay, so you will only not do your basic charts and graph, you would have your Pareto, your actual versus target, and all of this not only helps you to elevate your presentation, but also helps you to elevate how you present your data and how you present, you know, the main key items that you would like to highlight in the form of infographics. Okay, so with that, that's all from me. Thank you so much, and if you have any question, I will have them. I will have them now. Right? Thank you so much. So I'm going back to Kunalan now.
Okay, thank you, Miss Adila, for sharing. All right, feel to free to leave a comment if you have any question or doubt, and Miss Adila respond to them. So let's take a moment to collect the question, ma'am.
Of course, can.
Okay, ma'am. It seems no more questions. Okay, now let me share about our upcoming training sessions. Okay, our upcoming training session is we are offering Microsoft Excel and Intermediate Advanced level of Miss Adilas. Next one is upcoming from February. We are offering Microsoft Excel for basic level, Microsoft Excel data analytics and visualization, AI tools for content creation and marketing, Microsoft Power Query, Digital Marketing Professional for February. For in March, we are operating CapCut, Digital Marketing Masterclass, Microsoft Excel Basic Level, Microsoft Excel Power BI, SEM and SEM, Canva Design Bootcamp, AI tools for content creation and marketing. That's all. If you have any comments, you can leave it down. And if you're interested in enrolling on all of these courses, you may contact us. Thank you for you all and have a good day. Thank you, Ms. Adila.
All right. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Have a nice day.
Bye.